Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. One of life's greatest pleasures is drinking tea first thing in the morning. Early morning sessions are some of my favorite sessions. And this morning I woke up randomly at about 4 a.m. and I was thinking, why am I going to just lie here tossing and turning in bed? Why not just get up, start the day and have a good session with this new PuErh, which has just arrived in. So it's just turned 5 a.m. here. Everyone's asleep, but I am gonna indulge in the Candy Ice Cruncher. Here we go, another 2023 Raw PuErh. This one, the cover by Celine, is of the pig sitting in an ice bath, crunching on a toffee apple or a candy apple, and you can see the wallpaper behind has got flowers and spices, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Another stellar design by my wife, Celine, knocking them out of the park. The Candy Ice Cruncher, and as you can see, the title, obviously, candy apple, ice bath, cruncher, well, the crunch of sort of the coldness of the ice, but there was a real rich minerality in the matcha when we first tasted it, and we thought there's got a crunchy feel in the mouth that I really, really love, and so that's why it's got the name. Will it live up to that name? Let's find out. So I'm going to open this tea cake up and put this one down here. I've got another one here, so I can break this one up separately. Let's quickly scope the tea. Season, April 2023. Cultivar, Daiyejong variety. Origin is from Mang Fei in Linsang, in sort of the northern areas of the PuErh region of Yunnan. And the picking and processing is going to be a bud and up to the third leaf. Traditional PuErh processing, and elevation is around 700 meters. Here we go. The Candy Ice Cruncher. Take a look at these leaves. Nice combination of darker plummy leaves here, and of course those beautiful silver, moving to antique silver buds. Nice level of combination of leaves and buds here. Looking fine, looking fine. So let's break it up. Mang Fei, Linsang. I think this is the first Mang Fei we've ever stocked. We always spread our net far and wide with our scouts to make sure that we sample as many different villages and mountains. There are so many in Yunnan. There are so many small villages, and any little hill is called a mountain. So basically, I mean, they are high elevation. Although this is definitely on the lower end of the elevation. 700 meters is unusual for a Gushu. I forgot to say, this is 200-year-old estimated tea tree. So Gushu Raw PuErh, 700 meters. So this mountain village area is definitely lower than, I would say, the majority of the more well-known mountain areas, but it all boils down to taste, as we know. And not just taste, but experience, the whole tea experience. And whenever we're tasting our PuErhs, just like all of our teas, we taste blind. So we know nothing about anything, price point, village, nothing. All I will generally know is sort of which scout has supplied the tea. Generally, I'll know that. But apart from that, it's all blind. And of course, we swooned over this one. Otherwise, we would not have purchased it. So Mang Fei, 2023. Brewing in the Dongba, because I can and I want to. And of course, if the tasting notes differ when I taste in porcelain, then the website will be updated. But overall, I'm pretty good at teasing out the tasting notes despite being in different materials. What do we have here? I reckon, we're going to do a guess. I reckon I've got near on about 9 grams here. Let's quickly see how good I am. Always like to test myself. Okay, here we go. I'm going to be way off, aren't I? Let's see. Well, see, there's 9, 9.4. So that's 9, and you can see what I have left over. So I wasn't too far off. All right. Let's pick up the stragglers. Don't lose these precious leaves. Oh, raining outside. A rainy morning in London. What a surprise. So you get the lovely, beautiful atmospheric sound of the pitter-patter of rain as I drink tea at 5 a.m. I love starting the day early. It's become one of those things, you know, as you get older, you just sort of love to, I mean, the early morning, it's like this, first of all, everyone's asleep. You know, you have that moment, especially if you've got a family, where you've got that time for yourself to just settle yourself into the day and get on with work or get on with exercise, do something productive. But also, just the feeling of morning is a very different feeling. And I just love it. I love it. When I was younger, I used to, those rare occasions where you had to get up early for the airport or something, and you would get up early, and then you'd always sort of say to yourself, or I would always say to myself, oh, I love getting up early because, you know, you feel like you've done so much and it's only like 10 a.m. And you sort of promise yourself you're going to do it more, you're going to get up early, but you tend not to. I didn't anyway. But, you know, in my older years, definitely getting up. I get up around 5 a.m. now on average, but as I said, I woke up at 4 and I thought, sod it, let's get up. All right, here we go. First sniff of this tea, Candy Ice Cruncher Mang Fei 2023 Gushu. And you are hit with a noseful of fruits and caramels. I'm getting butterscotch. I'm getting warm milk. I'm getting cooked apples. Lots and lots of caramel. But more, as I said, butterscotch. Wow, it's really raining hard out there. So warm milk and honey, or warm milk and butterscotch, cooked apples. There is a bright ionizing quality to the smell that I always associate with snow. And there are some pu'ers that do this, and I love them. I love this aspect of certain pu'ers. The one that had it the most, I think, was Chime Gatherer, which was an autumn tea. This is not an autumn tea, but it has this distinct snowy mineral note on the nose. And I've been asked about my snow note before, so let me just try to explain it. If you've ever been on a skiing holiday, or if you've ever, you know, lived in a snowy country, you will know that there's a certain smell that's in the air when it is snowing, or when you come out on a morning and it's had a night of fresh snowfall. There is a smell, and I sort of associate it with an ionized smell to it. So I'm getting that snowy note. There's also a slight celeriac note. Not celery, celeriac, so the roots, starchier, creamier. A little spice in there with the cooked apples. All right, let's give this a rinse. Just a very, very, I was going to say unique, but I mean, I have had teas that have had those aromas before, but I don't think ever together. So caramels, butterscotch, warm milk had, cooked apples had, snow had, but put together, not so common. All right, let's see how the wet leaves smell. Oh, so much fruit and spice. So now I am getting saffron syrup. And as I said, I would talk to you about the wallpaper. You can see the saffron here. And these, I think we were thinking lilies. I'm not picking up the lilies right now, but I'm picking up this, and I love this. See, I'm not the greatest fan of saffron in food because I feel like it can often be too heavy-handed, and maybe because, you know, you're thinking, oh, well, saffron's expensive, let me be indulgent. And restaurants kind of overdo it, I find. Saffron should be treated with subtlety. And saffron here is subtle, but it's there. It's, again, it links well with this snow. And what I mean by that, it's got a very high, clean, sharp note to it that works well with that ionized air smell. So saffron syrup. The cooked apples have now moved into poached pears. So I'm imagining saffron syrup poured over poached pears. Wake my nose up. There's a deep, rich, slightly woodsy note there. I'm not going to say it's not quite cinnamon. I will get there, but there is a woodsy note there. And there's also a tang, like a bright tangy note. I would put it under blood orange, perhaps. A tangy note. But there's also a very light, bright, sweet note that I would associate with a very perfumed strawberry, like a wild strawberry. This really clear, sharp, bright, sweet, fruity note. Wild strawberries. I think that deeper, darker herbal note, woodsier note, I'm going to associate it with moxa. So Chinese herbal, punk moxa. It's got a slight mintiness to it in that woodsiness. There's also a very, again, I'm going to talk about this high cutting note that we're talking about, saffron, snow. But I would, it's going to sound weird, but I would associate it with metal, like a metallic sort of, I don't know, like if you stick your nose in like a food urn that's made out of like stainless steel, it's got like a slightly metallic smell. And I really don't mean that in a negative way. You know, people talk about metallic tastes or metallic smells. I mean it in this very sort of clean kitchen sort of note. Like if I picked up this kettle, this stainless steel kettle, and I just sort of sniffed inside, it has a sort of clean quality to it. And I think I am now starting to pick up, as it cools, more of the floral note. It's very important that you smell the wet leaf from hot to cool, because as it cools, the aromas tend to become brighter and clearer. And I'm picking up some lilies. So lots and lots and lots going on in this wet leaf smell. Now I need to make sure I check the temperature. Yes, that was too cool. Do you guys know what I mean about this clean note of snow, steel, and then this saffron? Saffron has almost got a medicinal quality to it. I'm sure it is a medicinal herb, you know, depending on dosage, of course. And as I said, a lot of restaurants are a bit heavy-handed in my experience. There was a time when I just couldn't eat saffron because I went to a restaurant and I had a dish that was a saffron risotto that had so much saffron in it. And I think I got food poisoning at that restaurant as well. And so I sort of linked in my head saffron with food poisoning. And it took me many years to sort of train my way out of that and learn to love saffron again. But I do, but it has to be handled properly, not too much. Right. Sorry, I know I'm moving stuff around on my gone through vessel a lot, but I'm just conscious of making sure that, ow, burnt myself, that this camera is getting a good shot. Normally everything would be stacked up on here, but so if you see that it's a bit more minimal, normally the desktop setup would be everything on here, as you can see, but I'm conscious of angles. Gotta get the angles, people. All right, let's check out the color of this liquor. Ooh, hazy, hazy color. It's got this sort of blurry quality to it, like it's been filmed through a pair of tights, or would you say that in America? I don't know. There's a different word for it in the US, I think. Not tights, but you know, nylon. Hazy, golden. Wow. Beautiful, load of activity going on in there as well. Wow, that looks so enticing. I'm terrible at colors. One of my worst, it's one of the areas I need to train the most in is how do you describe colors? It's like a pear gold. From this side, I know from the camera there, it's gonna look darker, but when you look at it through with the light coming through, it's like a pear gold, and it's very, like, the activity in it is very fine, like really fine trichomes, extremely fine. It's different from seeing like larger trichomes, and that fine trichome makes it look like a sort of jellied, hazy color. Okay, again, trying to make sure the camera gets the shot. Very hazy. All right, here we go. Candy Ice Cruncher. Let's focus on texture, albeit I am drinking in Genshui, so I know it's going to be slightly thicker than if I drank in porcelain, but I'm expecting thick things here. Oily, 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 wow. Like super oily in the mouth. Again, I mean that in a good way. It feels really like it's like lubricates, goes into every little area of my mouth effortlessly, like with capillary action, just gets sucked into different areas of my mouth in a very oily way. Gorgeous, luxury, oily quality in the mouth. Soft and thick. 2 sips in, sweetness in my mouth, immense. The first sip of the day, just past 5 a.m. For me, these are life's great little pleasures. And those little pleasures, how to say this? It's these little pleasures that make life immense. You know, it's not the big things happening in your life, great. But these little pleasures are the granular immensity of living, if that made any sense to anybody. In the morning, my brain works in a slightly different way. Anyway, toffee apples, caramel and apple. I know I'm being prompted by the cover, but it is true. I'm tasting it. Toffee apples, but I'm also tasting some cooked pineapple. I'm tasting some banana, but more like green, no, not green banana, more like banana skin, the smell of banana skin. So it's banana-y, but not full-on banana. So lots of fruits, and all in that cooked down sugary note. The toffee apple, candy apple, which I haven't had for a while. The cooked pineapple and banana skin. I'm getting that saffron syrup. The softness and the oiliness in my mouth is next level, people. It's next level. It is an absolute luxurious delight. feeling that tea, that warm tea hit the stomach first thing in the morning. Wow. Immense. Yeah, it's got this smooth, warm quality to it in the feel and in the taste as well. Not picking up so much of that cooling ice bath, ionized, note, but let's see how things fare through next infusions. This first fusion is just pure, indulgent, smooth, carameled, fruity luxury. But I sense that mineral note coming. And the aftertaste or the finish is this hum all over my mouth, all over my tongue. This hum of sweet toffeed apple. Right, second infusion, and my brain is... Okay, what I'm going to say is going to raise some eyebrows here, but I'll say it anyway. Why not? I don't know, but as I taste more and more over the 20 years of tasting teas, like, you become very sensitive to a certain character in tea. And it's not something, because clearly I've not absorbed the chemicals other than sublingually. And so, I can't say that I know that this tea has a strong body sensation of X, Y, or Z, but it's more about the character of a tea. And I really believe that if you train yourself, you can become very sensitive to the character of a tea. And I think that most people who drink tea for extended periods of time may agree, I'm not going to assume that you agree, but may agree that there's a certain feeling that almost from the first sip that you get, that you start to understand the character. And what I will say about this tea is I think that it has a gentle giant character to it. It's like it's gonna be powerful, but in this really comforting, gentle way. The texture, the mouthfeel, the taste, all really, really give me that impression. And I'm just getting this feeling, this rising feeling in I'm already starting to feel this buzz around my head. Okay, second infusion. The crunch is coming out. More mineral. Okay, it's not crunchy, but it's got that metal smell that I was talking about, the snow, the ice on the middle of my tongue. This always struggle to explain these feelings. We have to create words, but it's like it has a bright I wish I could describe that. I always use the word cutting, but it's not right. I may use the word metallic, but it's not right. I sometimes talk about battery fizz, like if you put battery in, you get that tingle, but it's not right. There's something that happens, and I'm sure it's mineral based. Again, in that ionizing quality, that the feeling that you get on your nose when you go outside and you smell freshly laid snow, imagine that on your tongue. It's the best I can do. It's bright, it's awakening, but it's refreshing, but at the same time it's very natural. Yeah, like this ionized taste in my mouth that really reminds me of chime gatherer. And I love that about Chime Gatherer. That was what always brought me back to Chime Gatherer, and why it has been one of my favorite teas in our roster of PuErh teas. Over the years, this incredible icy snow. I think okay, if you've ever had a Korean bingsu, shaved ice, imagine like a simple milk bingsu. So frozen milk, shaved, so it's powdery. That powdery, milky, sweet, but ionized, snowy quality. Ah, I love it. I love that. Mang Fei. I don't know, maybe I'm clearly gonna have to drink a lot more Mang Fei teas over the years, but this is the first one we've selected. I'm sure we've tried it before, but wow. I love that. Did I say I love it? I love it. Yeah, milk bingsu. So, toffee apples, saffron syrups, poached pears, caramels, all there. Lily's floral notes. There, not hugely floral, but there. Saffron syrup, as I said, spice, a little bit of moxa, some of those woodsy notes, and then snow, like powdered bingsu, milk, frozen milk bingsu. Okay, smell of the empty gongdabae. Oh, my mouth is left with this amazing, not astringent, but this juicy this mineral like feeling of snowy feeling that leads to this juicy, and the juiciness has a little tang, has a little twang to it. That moxa has turned more into sort of cannabis and a little bit of a grapefruit or yuzu twang to it. Smell of the empty gongdabae. Oh, caramel. A little bit of fenugreek. So again, those herbal interest happening in there. Woodsy, spicy, the fenugreek, the moxa, the herbal, the saffron, but lots and lots of caramel, lilies, maple syrup, straight up maple syrup, really syrupy and sweet. Right, let's roll through some infusions on this rainy morning, and I'll be back to let you know the body sensation. Fifth infusion. The taste stays consistent, getting more and more of that milk bingsu. So normally with PuErh teas, as you brew through, you get more of that inner leaf material, you're getting a little bit more minerality, tends to bring out a little bit more of the vegetal potentially. But with this one, it's more about those milk minerals, milky minerals, snowy minerals. So more of that, but loads and loads of those caramels and apples. I was picking up a touch of vanilla, but vanilla, like very light vanilla, as if you've poached those pears or poached those apples with, a tiny bit of vanilla in there. Or if you imagine that saffron syrup is a saffron and vanilla syrup. A delicious, delicious tea at the start and moving through the session. A wonderful tea in terms of its mouthfeel. Never gets too aggressive. The mineral oomph of it is in that snowy character, which I'll stop talking about now. Juicy, flooding juiciness. Like I said, gentle but powerful. Very hard to overbrew this tea, I think. Just it has this self-assured, gentle but potent feel in the taste and in the body. Body sensation, warm, rising, comfortable, bright, invigorating. So this lovely balance of warm, settling, but still rising, invigorating and bright. A wonderful, wonderful tea to start the day. I think that I'm going to become a little bit obsessed with this one. The Candy Ice Cruncher. I mean, I really, really think that this is going to be a tea that I am going to be pulling out of the cupboard regularly. The pig. It's actually quite fitting because I normally have my ice bath ready or a very cold bath on many mornings. So the morning ice bath, but crunching on that crunchy candy apple, the Candy Ice Cruncher Mang Fei 2023, a big one. Cheers, everybody. That's it, tea heads. Check out other videos, taste our teas wherever you're on the world by browsing mayleaf.com, and come visit us if you're ever in London. Other than that, I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the good stuff and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.